Hi, it's Buck and I'm back again. This is a story about a man who had amazing powers, although it didn't really register at the time. His name was SPRY. He was a sailor in the Navy. I think he and I were the same rank, same rate, second class. He'd been on a ship and he went from the ship to Okinawa, and when he checked into the barracks was a little overcrowded. I was second class. I was entitled to a room to myself, provided they had one. Well, Ed, when he checked in, found out that he had to share a room with somebody, so he asked to be with me. Shoot, that kind of disgruntled me because I like being alone. I like having a room to myself. Yeah, you can probably understand that. Well, anyway, Ed was different. I don't know how to say it except that Ed was different. And people didn't really like him too much. I do not know why. Well, actually I do. He was just different. He did things different. He didn't run with the normal sailor groups. He had his own thing going. He was a ping pong player, and he was good. He was the Alaskan state champ before joining the Navy. And while he was there, he became the Ryukyuan Islands champion. He was always going out somewhere with his ping pong paddle, special ping pong paddle that he had. And I'd ask him where he's going. He'd just smile and take off. And I challenged him to a ping pong game. I didn't know he was the Alaskan champion. I might not have been so brave. But I thought I was a pretty good ping pong player. He just laughed. So I was kind of a hard ass, and I kept giving him a hard time. And finally, one day he said, "All right, I'll play you." Well, I've never been so embarrassed in all my life. We went over to the recreation room, had a ping pong table there, and he allowed me to have 2 points out of 21 so that it wouldn't be a skunk game. And, well, I've got kind of a stubborn streak, and I don't like losing, so I kept challenging him, and he kept playing me. And mind you, I thought I was a good player. I was in high school, and by average standards, I was pretty darn good. But I wasn't state champion material. Well, I kept challenging him, and finally, one day, I got 3 points. I actually earned one. And from that point on, the scores began getting a little closer. 4 to 21, or 21 to 4, then 21 to 6. When it got up to 21 to 8, he wouldn't play me anymore. Son of a gun, hurt my feelings. I think it was just a matter of time before he and I were actually a good team, and he didn't want to see that. I'm not telling this story to talk about his prowess with the ping pong paddle. It was about something else. I was laying on my rack one day, and he was getting ready to go out, probably to play ping pong. He was all slicked up. I don't remember that. I was broke. Yeah, it was my state of affairs. I was a good time, Charlie. When I got paid, I'd go out and drink it all up, and then stay in the barracks for the next 2 weeks. And so I landed my back in my bunk anyway, and reading probably a Shel Scott book, and I thought to myself, I wonder if Ed would lend me $10. Ed was looking in his locker, and he was combing his hair in the mirror that was in the locker. He turned around, and he said, "I don't have $10 to loan you," or some words to that effect. And I said, "Oh." And then I sat there a minute, then I realized I hadn't said anything. He was getting ready to go out the door, and I said, "How did you do that?" He turned and he looked at me, and he just smiled and walked out the door. Ed could read your thoughts, probably one of the reasons why he was such a good ping pong player. He reacted to your thoughts before you even knew them. Well, the long and the short of it was I really liked Ed. Ed and I, we were friends. I don't think Ed was ever really all that close to anybody, and I was the kind of person that I had close friends, but I didn't really run with anyone. Ed's always been on my mind. I've never forgotten him because, for one thing, I don't know how it happened, but we opened a new site on Okinawa. It was a Woollenwibber high frequency direction finding site, and he and I were there to open up this new Woollenwibber location, and we became plank owners. In the Navy, when you're on a ship that's commissioned or a base that's newly commissioned and you're one of the first crew there, they call you a plank owner. And for all these years, I'm 81, Ed would be about my age somewhere. For all these years, I've been carrying around his certificate saying that he was a plank owner in that unit that we were in. Well, in those days, I tried to find Ed, but in those days, we didn't have computers and all like we do now. And now when I look him up, I can't find anything on him. So I don't know what that means. But anyway, mental telepathy is a fact. I learned that from Ed, but years later, I learned how to use it. Yeah, I guess that's about it. Maybe in schools, instead of just concentrating on reading, writing, and arithmetic and whatever else, social studies and all that, we ought to start including classes on mental communication, because it's a fact. And we use it every day without realizing it. Somebody will have a thought, and it'll be in your mind, and you think it's your thought. Husbands and wives do it all the time. Wife may be in the kitchen, husband in the living room, and different stimulus, different things going on, and suddenly both of them will start to say the same thing at the exact same time. One of them's broadcasting a thought, and the other one's picking it up. Who's the sender? Who's the receiver? Well, they don't know. Anyway, it's a fact. It works. I know it does. I've used it. I've demonstrated it. And Ed is the one who made me know it was possible. Guess I'll close this out now. Hope you enjoyed this. See you later. Bye-bye.